show. It's 7 o'clock. Let me go ahead and do this. See y'all in a minute.
Good evening, good people, good evening. I am Chancey, one of your hosts from When Men Speak. And here we are for yet another session. And tonight, oh boy, if you didn't see the plug from old Coach East up there in the corner, right? Tonight, we are going to be continuing our discussion. But tonight, we're going to dive into creating a safe space from the male perspective. Now, we have our ladies here. We got Miss Tanya and Miss Tamara. So our ladies are present and accounted for. And we want their feedback as well. But we want to talk about this safe space piece. And so where is Marquise?
Y'all don't see me?
No.
Y'all can't see me?
No.
Hold up. Let me try it again. Hold up.
So while we're waiting on Marquise,
can y'all see me
Lord
now?
Jesus. No, we can't see you, man.
I gotta go off, man. I gotta go off.
All right, we'll go out and come back. But while we're waiting on him to get himself squared away, I want you to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the invitations when we're live. But if you know someone that's in a relationship or who's actively dating, or someone who wants to start dating again, share this with them. Share this live with them, and maybe we can say something that would encourage them or help them in their journey. All right, there you go. There you go. He's back.
Yes, Lord.
All right, good sir.
All right. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Like Chancey said, I wasn't here. I think was it last week, the week before last. I was not on, but I was viewing. And first of all, I just want you guys to know that I have a burden on me as far as men's struggles right now concerning creating safe spaces and everything like that. And that's what we're gonna kind of dive into from the male perspective, and what women say that they desire in a man. All right. But before we go into that, I want to ask Tamara, because we haven't talked, but it's one thing that you said in the last episode was you said that based on your experience, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, that you had to cut your guy off because when y'all would have certain conversations or whatever, he would like what's the word? He would like go missing for a minute. And that was his way of processing certain things. And you wouldn't hear from him or whatever the case may be. And I think if I'm not mistaken, that was considered like a toxic trait, I guess. Can you explain that to us real quick?
Well, first, let me just correct you a little bit. It was when he was going through something. It wasn't necessarily when we were going through something because we weren't even really together long enough to go through something. But it was when he was going through something. He would shut down, and that's how he said that's how he deals with things or whatever. And what I said was that is not that doesn't create a safe space. When you go quiet on the person that you're with, that does not create a safe space. Shutting down on somebody is the opposite of creating a safe space because you're giving too much room for speculation in your partner, right? So me and him weren't together that long, so I don't expect, an open book. But what I'm saying is, in a relationship, even a marriage per se, because when people boyfriend and girlfriend, to me, that don't really count. But, in a marriage per se, when you're shutting down, that's not creating a safe space for your partner. So toxic, I wouldn't say, I didn't use the word toxic. I don't think it's toxic per se, but because the person who's shutting down isn't trying to be toxic, isn't, you know what I'm saying? But that's just how they've been dealing with things for years. So it's not like they're intentionally trying to be toxic, but it is a mechanism. It is a poor coping mechanism. It does not create a healthy relationship when you operate like that when you're going through.
Okay, I agree with you saying, and that could be toxic behavior and cause
That's what I was saying about that.
Especially when it's not communicated. So what my question is, before we move on, my question is, what if an individual knows this about themselves and they communicate to you and say, "Hey, listen, right now I'm just processing all the information that's been received, and then we just got to circle back to this."
Well, that's definitely a healthy way to communicate that you're going through something with somebody, and that's warranted. But who is this person to you that you can't reveal what's going on? Is that person really your mate? Is that somebody who you're really in relationship with? You know what I'm saying? Like it just I could understand fresh relationships. Yeah, you can not want to talk to that person and not want to tell it. But if you're with someone, I I don't need, come on, you got to communicate with me. I'm not saying that I appreciate you coming to me to say, hey, I'm going through, I need to process some things or whatever. But is that it? Because at some point, we're going to have this conversation and you're
right.
gonna have to tell me what's going on because we're in a relationship. That's
Right.
what relationships are for.
Right. That's
Support.
why. That's why I say, okay, we're gonna have to circle back round to the conversation.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
So,
at some point that has to happen.
but see, in what I'm referring to is, for instance, let's say we have a conversation, and you downloading all this, and and both of us having a conversation, and I'm listening to you, cause women say they want to be listened to, right? But
We do.
men, in a lot of ways, when we receive a lot of information, right? We okay, we have to. We're in the listening aspect, we're not listening to respond, but we're listening to the understand. And some of us, most of us, I know, would need to process. And you be looking at us like, is you gonna respond, Negro? Like, what's going on? Do you hear me talking to you? And everything, like, we just like trying to process everything that's being said to the T. So it takes some time, you know what I'm saying, to process everything that you inform. For instance, man, you talking everything that you inform me, I'll be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna have to get back with you. And you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Because like I'm still trying to process this. Cause remember now, when a woman really started talking, hey, she started the floodgates open. So it's a lot of times that be coming out. And we got to really dissect, and we got to know how to respond, and we got to really know and really hear and process what's being said. I just see I'm just saying that because I know that from experiencing from a lot of guys and what we talk about, right? Um, and then that's what I mean by circling it back around. We need what's up, Aaron? How you doing, man? Thank you for tuning in, bro. And everyone else that's in. What's up? What you about to say, T? I mean, TIM. What you about to say?
So I think that there's I think there's different situations, right?
I
Because
agree.
if a man is going through something separate, now I'm not because it sounds like you're talking about when we're having a powwow or something like that.
Right.
I'm not necessarily referring to that, right?
Okay.
Because those that's happening in present time, and yes, both of those people have to process sometimes about
Right.
what's being said. I'm
Right.
mostly speaking about when the man is going through something and has shut down on the woman to process or whatever he's going through separately. I'm not saying going through them together. I'm saying going through by himself. Like
Right.
something happened at the job or some, like things like that. That's what I mean. I don't
I
necessarily
got
mean a back and forth between that man and that woman because then that's a totally different situation.
got
I believe that's a different
you.
situation.
Understood. And I think again, going back to what we about to talk about as far as a safe space, right? Miss
Mhm.
Ingham, is your internet up yet?
Mm,
We're
let
gonna
me
keep checking back
see.
and forth. Hey, so
Okay.
so if you guys that's on this platform could please like, please share so that your friends and everyone can have access to this live. All right. So thank you, TIM. I appreciate that. So we're gonna kind of get into that aspect as well. All right. So listen, I talked to a lot of fellas, and I've been carrying a burden from a lot of dudes for a minute now. And when I say dudes, first of all, I'm gonna ask, okay, what is a good man to you, ladies? Can you ladies tell me what's a good man to you? What you identify as a good man?
You can have that, Tony. You go first, rather. Rather, you go first, I meant to say.
I was about to
Let's
say,
talk about
Sam,
this
I'll
now.
let you have that. That's really that the answer to that could be very, very broad. What is a good man? Uh, let's let's perhaps start with what is not a good man. I think at this big age, I like saying that phrase just in case you guys don't know that. I like saying that phrase. At this big age, it is not about the primary focus isn't about personal appearance. I'm only saying that because as a younger person, that was primary for me. That's not necessarily primary right now. A good man, I would say, is someone that, first of all, is a lover of himself, not in a conceited, narcissistic type of way. Um, because if he cares about himself, and you can see that evidenced in how he takes care of himself, carry himself, how he responds or acts publicly, then you can pretty much surmise that he's going to take care of you. He's going to love on you. If he loves himself, he can love you. Someone that is great at communicating, even when it is difficult. I want to say that all of us come with our own experiences. I hate to be put in this category with, well, everybody, people have done me thus and such, and because of that, then they treat me like people. I'm not people. Treat me like how I respond to you, not like how other people have treated you, and therefore you're going to speak to me or handle me a particular way. A good man.
Okay, as you thinking, keep going. I ain't trying to cut you off, fellas. What is your idea? What is your definition of a good man that you receive from female that or other men? What is a good man to you? And Tamara, you could go too. Go ahead, Miss Ingram. You still going? You still got more?
Sure, just a moment. I was responding to a viewer or attempting to. A great communicator, lover of himself, um, a person that wants to be in partnership
Okay.
with one person. Um, Someone that is clear about their goals, their aspirations. Someone that can be a rock, a pillar, sensitive, vulnerable, and a thug all at the same time.
That's a whole.
Can I get an amen?
Yes, a whole lot. Go, hey, T, what you got? T, what you got, real quick? T, what you got?
She alley-oop that in there real quick. She alley-oop that last one in there.
That's so that, you know what I'm saying? That's so y'all want to, hey, like what's the name say, y'all want a unicorn. Go ahead Tamara.
It's achievable.
Well,
I believe it's achievable. It's achievable.
Definitely the three P's that Steve Harvey talked about: a professor, a provider, and a protector. One who is one who's definitely not afraid to be vulnerable. One who's able to communicate. One who is thoughtful. One who loves God, who has a vision that has to do with where God wants to take them in their life. Like those things for me now. Now back then, that list was way different. But now I feel like those are more in sync with what I feel like, where I feel like I'm going in my life, because like um oh gosh, I'm terrible with names. But like my boy over here, the one who's happily married and has been happily married for 20 plus
Kurt,
years, like he said, Kurt, okay, so like he said, being equally yoked. So a good man is just someone that I can be equally yoked with. So
okay.
yeah.
Hey, so what we got, fellas? What's a good man? We know we got lesser words. So go ahead. Hit it up.
You got it, Keith.
I feel like we're on the Senate panel right now. I defer to the congressman, but
It's stupid. Stupid.
Wow. So Man, there's so much that goes into that.
Oh yeah.
I let me first say that I believe that I'm a good man. So let's
Right.
acknowledge that.
Short. Hey, let's
Toot
go
your
with short
horn.
version now.
All
So
right.
let's acknowledge that. So I can only describe who I am.
Acknowledged.
Right.
Yeah.
Short
So
version. Give us a short version.
I'll only describe who I am. I communicate. Um, I'm intentional. I'm caring. I'm supportive. I'm insightful, and I'm loyal. So
Mm.
Hold up. Don't
I'll put
forget.
that.
Don't forget the spiritual, brother, because you deep. Remember we talked about that. We spiritual now. And
Oh yeah,
covered.
yeah. I'm absolutely spiritual. But that that all of these things come from a spiritual place for me.
Okay.
I learned these things from a spiritual place.
Right.
So I will say that just for me, and I think that in general, when you're looking for a good man, those are the things that should stick out. You should see those things up front before anything else.
Okay. Chance, where you at? Holla at me.
Hey man, what this got to do with the conversation, man?
We gonna go there.
Yeah.
We build it. We build it.
Okay, so I agree with everything that everyone has said thus far. And I'm like Keith on this one. I can only tell you what I am, what I've learned in my short time of living. But I like what Latanya said. But in my what you call it,
Big age.
Latanya?
Big age.
Big age. I just hit the 50. So in my big age, I would say a good man is someone who knows who he is and what he wants. Because I think when I was younger, I didn't know who I was, what I wanted. So how can you expect to be a leader in somebody's life, or the head in somebody's life when you don't even know who you are and what you want out of life? So a woman, you meet
Say
somebody,
that.
she says, what do you want? What do you want to do? What's your vision for your life? And you so my next thing is a visionary, a go-getter, a leader, a life learner, of course, who loves God and who understands His purpose in the earth. So I mean,
Definitely.
like Coach he said, that's such a loaded question, but that's just a few of the aspects and traits that I feel like a good man is.
And we talk about integrity, right?
Yes, sir.
Which is
Definitely.
what integrity, and we talk about loyalty, all those things. Oh man. All right, so I just need y'all to bear with me because, like I say, I'm carrying some burdens, man, and so I'm very compassionate and I'm connected to stories, and I'm connected to these people's stories, and I'm connected to my own experience. All right, so we building. So I need y'all to walk with me,
Okay.
fellas. If your female come to you and they look at you, you're accustomed to keeping yourself right. You know what I'm saying? Most of us, at least three of us on here, and you know what I'm saying, we normally, that was a lifestyle for us. So we always kept even after retirement, we always kept ourselves where we need to be, in the gym, fit. You know what I'm saying? That sex appeal, baby. You know what I'm saying? We keep it sexy. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Cause that's just what we do. Kurt, come on now. That we call you Kurt, cause you be swagged out with the attire, baby. You know what I'm saying? With your short self, boy, you be carrying it. Your confidence is just out the roof, there, Kurt. And then we got old pretty boy. We got, you know what I'm saying? We got Pastor Pretty Boy up there. We call him GQ Smooth. When he walking up, boy, he floating. You know what I'm saying? He got the nice stature, the 225. You know what I'm saying? All children and everything with the nice grades. All this female be checking them out. You know what I'm saying? But, however, you or we may have let ourselves go a little bit. And we know this, right? We know this, but we still who we is. Your lady come tell you, hey, boy, hey, you sticking your stuff. You got a little pot belly right there now, ain't you? Like, what you got going on? What's your response, fellas? Are you offended by that? what happens when that comes when it's so freely communicated to you where you at in that status? I'm waiting.
I don't think that there's nothing that a woman can acknowledge about a man that he first can't acknowledge about himself. You got to own you. No matter your transition, you just got to own you, and you got to be okay with you. Life happens to all of us, and if this woman loves me, it's okay, because if I love myself, I'm gonna be like, yeah, but girl, I got it. We good.
So what we saying is,
so what I don't want us to do as men or women is major in the minors.
All right, hold up, back up.
Hello, somebody.
Hold up. This is the one thing I want. I need you to do right now. I need you to X. Don't add no woman. We talk about men right now. All right.
Okay, too easy.
We talking about men right now. X the woman out.
Yeah.
Right, let's go. Come on.
Yeah. So what we should not do is first just we have to acknowledge every space in life you find yourself in. Acknowledge that and own it, and learn how to be okay with whatever that looks like. Because if somebody else says it and you don't own it, the first thing you're gonna do is be offended. But if I already see and know who I am and where I am, I'm okay. Yeah, girl, you're right. But I'm gonna get there, right? So you have to first be okay with yourself wherever you find yourself. Right. Don't let somebody tell yourself you're standing in the street and you don't know it, right? And that's
so. So my question is, are you? Most of us that again, the group and most of the men that we know, when we receive information like that, the majority of us ain't finna be offended, cause we already know what we are. We already, you know what? You're right. I'm about to go on and, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm about to go on and get this thing back where it needs to be.
Right.
Stay less. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we're going to action.
Right.
Because we understand that you have identified and seen it, something that we already seen ourselves anyway. You know what I'm saying? You just hold us accountable. Hey, now you're slipping now, baby. Mm-hmm. And now, for real, let me show you I'm about to get this thing. I can do this thing back, girl. I can get this sexy back with no problem. Yeah. Go ahead, Chancey, hurry up real quick. Go ahead.
No, not offended at all, man. That's the expectation, because it's vice versa. I should be able to do the same thing, because it's all about building one another. So if I'm slipping, life happens to all of us, and you're not gonna be in, tip-top shape, in tip-top form 24/7. So that's the expectation. So I don't get offended. Me and my wife do that now.
All right. So next thing, all right, like I say, we building this. We building the conversation as far as creating a safe space. You with me? TIM. I gotta get it right. TIM.
I'm here.
Miss Ingram, you with me? Oh, she don't low. All right, next thing. So you ain't getting sex in a while. You know what I'm saying? And because we know you get busy, you know what I'm saying? You get busy, and also as you get older, the ladies go through body go through changes. However, you going to work every day. You know what I'm saying? Both of you holding it down at the house. You know what I'm saying? Both of you making sure everything good. The kids, you holding it down. You got good teamwork, making sure everything established. And because you establishing and making sure everything running, of course you may not have the time, you know what I'm saying, to put it in or to look your very best or whatever the case may be, right? But yet it's been a minute, and at the job, you got these honeys looking good, boy. And they flirting. They flirting at you. You know what I'm saying? They coming and they throwing at you. All you doing is working. You a man of integrity. You know what I'm saying? You a man, that's trying to do the right thing, and just, you know what I'm saying? You dodging all these things, but you only human too, right? Because of your integrity, you come back to your house. You say, babe, I'm struggling, girl. I'm gonna need you to, you know what I'm saying, get cute and get sexy for me, because hey, listen, this what coming out your mouth. Listen, you know what I'm saying? These females, they, you know what I'm saying, they all together at this job, and they coming at me. You know what I'm saying? Hey, babe, I'm starting to struggle with that. Tell me that ain't vulnerability, and tell me that ain't honesty, and tell me that your heart ain't in the right place because of who you really want to be, right? So if that's me being honest, understanding the space that we in, what's the problem? Now I'm saying this because again, these are things that I hear and I have to walk fellas through. You know what I'm saying? And the responses is, I can't believe you come at me. Don't be telling me about what's going on in all these other females out there. What you mean coming at you? Listen, I'm just trying to tell you, you know what I'm saying? I don't want none of them. But they coming at me and they looking kind of good right now. I just need my baby, you know what I'm saying? It been a minute, babe. I just need you, you know what I'm saying?
So
you the one I want.
So
Go ahead, T.
I work with a lot of people of that don't speak English, and
What?
I work with a lot of people that don't speak English. I work with a lot of people that don't speak English. I interact with people, a lot of people that a lot of them, you know, they don't speak English. And when I'm talking with them, they'll pull their phone out and they'll pull up a translator, and they hear me. I will have to speak into their phones, and then they'll read what I'm telling them in their language. They'll read what I'm telling them in their language. I'm gonna say that again. So I think that in this case, I liken that to that. When a man does that, it is not, or it's hard to be one-sided about this, but when a man does that, it's not him trying to offend. It's him trying to communicate, and it's up to her to pull out her translator. What is this man trying to tell me? Or what is this? You know, what is he trying to say? And it's not because I'm trying to, you know, offend you and say, oh, he out there doing this XYZ. It's really him trying to communicate, hey, this is what's going on right now. I need you to hear me. And a lot of times we don't pull out our translator. We don't pull that thing out so we can really interpret what they're trying to tell me. We immediately become offended, either because of our past or because of our insecurity, you know what I mean, or things like that. But when you really hear somebody that loves you, they may not say it the way you would say it, but they're still speaking. We just don't have our translators out so we can understand or interpret what they're saying.
Chance, you about to say something?
Yeah, man. When you come at your lady like that, it's not you, it's her. My wife and I went through this very same thing, man. And I used to do that. I used to do that exact same thing, and just pour my heart out to her, like, babe, you know, I'm trying. You know, my heart is to be integral. I want to, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to go down that road, but here's where I am with this thing. You know what I'm saying? And initially, that was her response. What you just explained, that was her response. So when she grew up and matured and was able to get over her stuff, is when she was able to respond to my transparency and honesty the right way. Because my intention wasn't to hurt or to do any of that. I was just being honest because I want you to know what I'm dealing with when I leave outside these four walls. Here's what I'm up against. You know what I'm saying? And we've heard the phrase back in the day, don't never let your man leave hungry or horny. You know what I mean? So that's a true statement. And you've got to know your mate though. You know, some people have higher drives than others, and you got to know the needs of of your mate
Right.
and all that kind of stuff, man. And when
Yeah.
you pay attention, which she does very well, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that first video we showed. How can you have this intuition and see all this other stuff, but you can't see my needs? You can't see that. So I liken that to that too. So
Right.
I'm gonna cut it off there because I know you want to go further. But I see I am face go down there.
I know. And she done this quite a few times.
Boy, if looks could kill.
All right. Okay. So now those are two examples, right? Now now first I'm gonna lay the foundation. This guy cover his family spiritually. Listen. First of all, I know T was saying that she look at it as far as married, but I know dudes that ain't even married yet that got significant others that do this, and I know people that's married, right? So they covering them spiritually. They got spiritual balance and spiritual maturity. They ain't just the dudes that just go to work. They come home. They wash dishes. They wash clothes. They clean the house. They do the lawn. They balance financially, make sure everything good. They spend time, one-on-one time with their children. They're intentional. Like my brother say on this phone, on this call. They have integrity. These are good men. They have a heart to do what's right. They ain't no bums. They ain't the one that just go to work and come home and think that they significant others are the only ones supposed to be doing the babysitting, the washing, the clothes, the kids and all that. No. These brothers in here, and anything she say she want, he gonna try to come up with a plan to make sure she get it. So women talk about emotional intelligence. Now, when we talk about emotional intelligence and creating a safe space, what we just said was when we receive information, we hear from the majority of us in the circles that I run in and most of the dudes that I know. We process the information and then we really hit a heart and what's going on, and then we don't make a decision, we come up with a plan of action. So if the plan of action is put something in place, then that's what we do. I.e., oh man, I need to start working out more often, man. I'm about to do XYZ to make sure I get myself toned back up. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to be sexy. You know what I'm saying? Because the flip side of this, now check this now. The flip side of this is she trying to make me accountable, but then she can tell me that my stomach a little posed and I'll let myself go a little bit and there ain't no issue. But the double standard is, let me bring that out my mouth once and say, babe, hey, listen, hey, not necessarily you let yourself go, check it. Because we know how to communicate. I got you, T. We know how to communicate. Hey, when the last time you been to the gym? You want to start working out again? See what I'm saying? Let's start going to the gym. This the type of dude you got. You ain't got a dude that's going to say, hey, good Lord, you getting fat. You need to do something. This ain't the type of dude you got now. You got to do, hey, babe. When the last time you been to the gym? You want to start working out again? You want to start eating? I can start buying and then he will go buy what you need to and cook to make the healthy stuff to make sure that we're doing it together as a team. Now, go ahead, T.
That's good. That's good.
Huh?
Oh, you saying I could go now?
Yeah.
Okay, so that scenario right there, what you just talked about, that's amazing. That's how it should be between two people. They should be able to be like, hey, let's work on something together, or I think you need to work on something. Here's let me just use your example, and then I'm gonna take it back to the example you gave before. Now, if I would have said, man, baby, them guys at my job, they be looking all buffed up. Man, what you gonna do? What I'm sure you're not gonna feel a kind of way, because here's the thing. When you bring another person into it, then that's what takes it to where somebody gets offended. Regardless of whether or not you intend to offend, still things that you can say out of your mouth can offend. And here's what I want to make clear. When you bring another woman into it and you could tell me that you need sex from me, you could tell me you need me to be more sexier. You can do all those things without bringing another woman
Wait,
into
wait,
the into the conversation.
hold up. Now, what did you just hear?
No, hello. You remember, Tanya? You remember when he
No,
was saying?
I
He
I know
said,
what you're saying. I know what
"Okay,
you're saying I didn't bring just another woman. I'm saying, okay, I'm I'm in this environment.
no,
So
I hear all of that. I'm not talking about a woman that you're dealing with on the side of nothing. I'm talking about what you're saying. How, because everything is about how you say it, right? If
see,
even though you're being
see,
truthful, you're being honest. Hold on, you're being
see,
truthful, you're being honest, but there's still a way that you gotta
no,
present things to people.
no,
Yes,
no, 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 no. Now,
Oh, this is about to get, yeah, this
I'm
is
gonna
gonna be
explain.
good.
I'm gonna explain this to you. I'm gonna explain this to you. You telling me you want me to be vulnerable. This is the vulnerable space that I'm in, and I'm starting to feel frustrated. And you gonna tell me I gotta temper down where I'm at? You know me.
no, that's hold on. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can tell me all you can be vulnerable and tell me all of those things that you're trying to tell me. You're telling me, man, I need more sex or
You
this
say
and this
your
and that without bringing enough, without comparing it, without bringing the other women that bother you or that be coming to you. That doesn't have to be part of the conversation.
I'm not
I get it.
comparing you to anybody.
It's got to be a way that I'm
What
not saying that you are, but when
okay,
you bring another human being into the conversation, that's what it does. Whether you intend to or not, that's all I'm saying. It's got to be a way in how you communicate your
no,
vulnerability and your
you keep
truth.
telling me it's the way that I'm supposed to communicate. How else am I supposed to communicate to this? I'm
You
not
can tell me
I'm
that you want sex without telling me that the women at your job is
no
old. I'm having a hard time because these women they be
attraction.
on
No,
me.
no, no,
Come
no.
on, it doesn't matter what you're saying. You can't bring
You
another woman
mixing
into it and expect for your woman to
no,
not get offended by that. Come
no,
on, man. Okay,
you missing
I'm
attraction.
a,
You missing attraction with sex. It's two different things. Two different
it's
It's
the same, but you're not getting what I'm saying. Okay. I may not be articulating the exact subject matter that you're saying. What I'm saying is when you want to communicate whatever that vulnerability is, as far as attraction, as far as sexual, whatever, as far as all of that, into whatever that is that you're trying to communicate, you should not be doing that by bringing what these other people out here that are doing that you're struggling with into the conversation and
oh
not
why?
expect for that woman that you're talking to not feel some type of way about that.
I don't
Because
have to feel
if I went to my man, if I went to my man and say, hey, Derek, boy, he talked to me, boy, he talked to me so nice and da 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 da, and say, that's what I want you to do for me, or I need you to
no
help me. I'm struggling with not being able to communicate with my man. It's not different.
you
It's
know
not
what?
different.
Okay, this is why it's different. The reason why it's different is I'm explaining to you the environment that I'm in. I didn't tell you that I want you to dress like this lady and dress like this lady that came to me and dress like this lady. I'm saying,
You
hey,
said women. You said women. It's period.
right. So if I'm coming home,
Exactly.
listen to what I'm saying. If I'm coming home, right?
Never
And we've
mind.
been in the grind. We've been in the grind. All you doing right now is wearing you ain't got cute because we've been in the grind too, man. I ain't seen your sexiness in a while. All I'm saying is, babe, we ain't had sex in a minute. I ain't seen you look, you look your best lately. You know what I'm saying? And on top of it now, I'm the or some of these are type of these fellas are one that's gonna take you out, gonna wind it down you all these things, but we ain't gotta do all that. But I just need you to, you know what I'm saying, look a little good for me or dress up. You know what I'm saying? Cause this is what's going on, and this is where my mind is at. I'm not. Can y'all hear me? Cause it look like I'm lagging.
No, I can hear
We hear
you.
you.
But see, in this right here, in this explanation right here, you didn't say nothing about the other women. When you said it the first time, Tanya, am I wrong? When you said it the other time, you was like, man, because these women out here, boy, I'm struggling. And all I'm saying is, in any conversation that
That's
you're
true.
bringing to your other
That's
person,
true though.
there it
Go
is.
ahead.
We
Go ahead.
understand. We
Go
understand the
ahead.
purpose.
Chancellor. I'm sorry. Can y'all see me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can see
You
you
got
and hear you.
My stuff is lagging like crazy right now.
We hear you and see you.
Yeah, everything is lagging right now. Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
it's just you, cause I think we all on the same page. But I
Yes.
think what was missed in all of this is what you said initially. What you said initially was you hadn't had relations in a long time.
Mhm.
And when you haven't had relations in a long time, you're letting your lady know, like, hey, babe, this is what I'm dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And because we haven't had relations in a long time, I'm struggling in this area right now. And I need you to break bread, basically. And so, but the person Irwin, the comment to his comment though, if you say that and Tamara, you respond the way you just responded, that's what causes a man not to be transparent and to shut down and to not tell you what's going on and to not be vulnerable. Because if I can't give you my truth my way, if you say to me, because what I heard you say when you just explained yourself, what I heard
Mhm.
is you said, babe, I want you to be vulnerable. I want you to tell me what's going on. But I want you to do it my way. I want you to say it the way I want you to say it. That's what I heard. I know that ain't what you said, but that's what I heard. Because you said to him that, yeah, I want you to be vulnerable, but you got to find another way to say it. There's a better way for you to explain yourself to me.
There
How
are
else
better
can
ways
I
to
how
communicate.
else can I explain it except that's my truth? That's where I am with it. That's why I said earlier, you have to know your mate. Because like I told y'all before, when I used to preach all the time, I'm very transparent. I would say things from the pulpit. I would speak in my bedroom in the pulpit, because in my mind, these people need to hear the truth. They need to know that they're not the only ones going through this and that and blah blah blah. And one of my mentors came to me and she told me, she said, Chancey, listen. She says, just because it's a good thing, don't always mean it's the right time. Because my wife wasn't in a position at that time in our lives where she could handle my truth, my vulnerability, my transparency, because she wasn't spiritually mature enough to handle that, and for it not to offend her.
Uh-oh.
Golly, man, what's going on with the system?
Well, you know, the weather is kind of bad, so
Where
it
we
might have
All
are.
right,
something to do with it.
hey, TIM, you know I ain't attacking you, right?
No, I don't think you're attacking me because me and you not together. So I don't think that's an attack at all. But I just do think that it's a certain way that you got to bring things to your mate.
I
And even a therapist will tell you that it's how you say things,
what
it's
I'm
how
saying,
you communicate that makes a lot of a difference as
I
well.
get.
That's
I
all.
don't want you to think that I don't understand what you're saying. But what
Well,
I
that's all.
need,
That's all I was saying, though. That's all I was saying.
what I need females to understand is we're saying we want men to be vulnerable, but then you telling me I gotta filter my vulnerability. So that's going. If I gotta think about how I'm gonna say something to you when when I'm telling you that my heart is with you, and this is what this is the raw truth of what I'm really going through. You telling me to take the emotion out of what I'm
No,
really
I'm
going
just
through?
saying, don't bring another woman into it. Don't tell me what you could tell me that you're struggling without telling me that there's other women in your face and all that. That's all I'm saying. You could tell me that you're struggling without bringing somebody else into the, because then it takes it to another level. Then what you're
How?
comparing me, because you're
Oh,
bringing another person into the situation. You could say that all you want. But if I'm talking to a man as my man and I bring in another man into the situation, that man is going to feel threatened. But even if the man doesn't even exist, if you be like, well, dang, man, these guys, they just be all
that's
in my face. They just, that man is gonna
see,
feel threatened in some kind of
but see,
way. All I'm
that's
saying is you don't
different.
have to bring another human into it. If I'm communicating with my man, my spouse, it's just between us. It doesn't, you don't have to bring another person into it to prove your point. You can prove your point by just telling me how you feel. I'm struggling. I'm this. I'm going through this. I'm going through that. You don't have to tell me because these women be in my face and doesn't, because then
See,
that just puts a whole nother, that adds a whole nother difficulty into the conversation that doesn't even have to be there. You could tell me you're struggling without telling me about the women you're looking at work, or for the women that's looking at, that doesn't have to be a part of the equation for me to get sexy. If I need to get sexy, you can tell me that other ways is all I'm saying. When you start bringing in other things, other humans into it, just to prove a point or just to drive your point home, then that is not conducive to peace going forward. Is all I'm saying. You're adding into now. She might go to thinking, well, dang, well, who had his job be in his face like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you just don't, you can say what you need to say without having to bring another person of the opposite sex into the conversation. That's all. That's
but
all I'm
let's
saying. Please be as
just
vulnerable
be
as
clear.
ever, but you don't have to bring another woman into it to make me understand what you're trying to say. You get what I'm saying,
Just to
Tanya?
be
I hear you.
just to be clear.
I
Just
just wondering, do you how you feel about it?
I'm waiting for I'm
Oh,
letting the
okay.
host invite me in.
just
Oh,
so
okay. Sorry.
so
Uh-huh.
I just don't
just
want to
to
feel like
be
I'm
clear.
alone in this. I'm like,
No, you good. Just to be clear though. Just to be clear. See, this is the thing about me and people don't understand. Me as an individual now. Me as an individual, I'm good. I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you, for me, I don't care about you saying whatever. I would allow if somebody stepped to my girl, you know what I'm saying, and I'm not around, and then I walk up and I see it, I'm the type of person gonna let her handle that. I ain't the type of person to step in because that's her job to handle that. Cause when I ain't around, that's what she's supposed to do. If I want you to be as vulnerable as you can, and it lets me know that I ain't the only one that's attracted to you. And for me to bring that up, it's not for me to use that to drive my point home. It's actually my truth. I'm not using no other female just so you can do whatever. I'm telling you right now, that ain't something that I want to do. I fear that because I've seen so many other people go through this. So I'm just letting you know this is where I am. Hey, Chancey, you was about to say something before you were saying something before you fell out. Go ahead, man.
I don't even know where I was, man. At the when it dropped off on me. Um,
Hey, what you got? Just think about that. What you got, Coach East?
You would talk.
Um,
Man, there are layers to this. It's not Kool-Aid, man. You can't just put it in the water, and expect it to be sweet. This isn't that. I do believe that in healthy situations, when a man speaks that way, it just makes me ask the question: what has he said before then? It would, we would have to answer that question first. What has he said prior to him saying, "Hey, this is what's going on in my office space"? So prior to that, what has the man been trying to tell you? What's her name? She said that. But what is it that I was showing you prior to us getting here? And I think that that's really, kind of like the precursor to how those conversations happen. No man wants to come home and say, these women looking at me. Nobody wants to do that. If you love somebody, nobody wants to bring that home to a woman. Anytime somebody does that, that's a flag that says, hey, this is something we really need to address. And it's not the intent to bring another woman into it. It's the intent to say, hey, we probably need to come here. You know, men and women are just different in how we address situations. That's just what the nature of the beast is, you know, and I can't be, it shouldn't bother me to the degree that you're wrong because that's the only way you know how to talk to me. You know what I mean? When it comes to stuff like this. But I do think that if that's something that a man is bringing home to you, I promise you that there's something prior to that that caused him to bring that home. And I think that that's probably where we should look first. Because I know, and even, you know, in my own life, in my own right, I've had these conversations and there was never an intent to be offensive. The intent was always to say, hey, you know, this is a problem. This is happening. He's not telling you how strong he is or how cute he is. He's telling you how vulnerable he's becoming because something is missing. He's not saying, hey, I got it, girl, and this is what's happening at the office. That's not, you know, the men, like we say, the men that I know, that's not what their intent is. They, hey, I got it, man. The girl, they coming at me. Boy, I'll tell you what, you know, they're not doing that, you know. But what they are saying is, but by the time it gets there, there's something that's already a minus in the relationship in that space that we probably tried to talk about. We probably tried to address that has been overlooked, has been not seriously considered. You know, if I may be personal for a minute, I lived that, and I didn't bring home office work or office passes. I said, hey, you know, let's talk about this because we're missing this. I've had those conversations, and we have to ask the questions, what do we do when we disregard those conversations, when those conversations aren't getting us to where we need to be, you know? So a lot of times when a man brings that home, they're not showing off. They're saying that, hey, as strong as I am, this is my SOS, you know, especially if you have to. So on top of that, just consider if this is a good man. Because if he's a guy that you know he probably suspect, that's one thing. But if this is a good one and you see his good, it's probably time to listen, you know, and try to see he's trying to communicate in another fashion, you know, because I've lived that life where I did. Hey, you know, this is happening, and you know, I don't know why, because I'm bringing home the bacon. I'm faithful. I'm loyal. I'm in the church. I'm preaching. I'm pastoring. You know, I got the house, got the baby. Everything you wanted, I got it. We praying together, we living together, we loving together, we doing Bible study on Wednesday. I can talk about this, you know, because I lived it. But what happens when none of those things work and they're still being passive to your needs? And, you know, when then you do start saying those things and interjecting those types of things, and now I'm offended. Well, I wasn't trying to offend you. I've been trying to talk to you the whole time about this. It's just a
Well,
matter,
that's different. That's it.
you know. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. Is how intentional are we when it comes to listening to the issues? So,
Hey, Chancey, what you got?
Yeah, man. I made a post the other.
You was talking about filtering. Just so you know, you was talking about filtering, and being vulnerable, but having
Yeah,
to filter.
knowing your partner and all of
Right.
those things. But here's the piece I want to hit home, man. As men, we deal with a lot when we leave this house. When we leave here, it's a lot we have to deal with. You know, to keep our head held high, to keep our shoulders back, to keep our confidence up, and to keep going on a day-to-day basis, knowing all of the responsibility that's on our shoulders. And this place is supposed to be my peace. This is supposed to be where I can take my cape off, I can put my shield down, I can be vulnerable, I can tell you how my day was, I can unload this stuff off of me, and just kind of just be. And if I'm doing that, and then your response to me is, why did you say it that way? Oh, why did you have to say it like that? You need to tell it to me like this. I mean, when I first put my crown on, I couldn't fit it. It didn't fit my head. But because of the safe space, because of her continuing to build me up here behind closed doors in the bed, having our private conversations, having our heated fellowship. Because of the way she built me up, it made me do everything in my power to fit into that crown, so that now I can be the king that she needs me to be, and the king that I need to be, even for myself, is because how she responded to me in my moments of vulnerability. If that man is vulnerable and you're tearing him down,
Wow.
or responding to him negatively or in a contentious manner, he's never going to get to the point where that crown fits on his head, because he's continually having a fight outside and then fight you inside. You've got to be that. We're talking about a safe space here. So when you talk about safe spaces, you've got to, as I said in the characteristics of a man, know who you are. You know what I'm saying? And if there's things, and I addressed this the last time we talked, if there are things that you know that you haven't done your work on, and areas that you know you are still struggling in, you got to make sure you deal with that stuff before you come into a relationship, because it's going to hinder both you and the person that you're trying to build one with.
So the one thing that we talked about at the beginning was listening, right? And listening to understand opposed to listening to respond. So the importance of, and what I've learned in listening is that you can't allow a person to be them and communicate accordingly. If I know their heart, you know what I'm saying, despite how they're delivering, I need to hear what they're saying, opposed to allowing certain words in their delivery itself to offend me. Because if I can hear their heart, and I can and I'm listening to understand, it allows me to filter all the nonsense, all the things that the word that I have a problem with, to actually hear what they're saying. And that's what gives me time to process it. That's why I gotta have time to process everything so I can hear it properly. And I'm able to respond properly and not out of my emotions.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? That's the thing. Women say that they want these things from men, but when they actually get it, I'm telling you, these are good men. These are good women. But these jokers are at the place now to where, man, I'm not being heard. Man, all I want to do, like, I'm about to go crazy. And then some of them have it made it to the point that some of them end up making a mistake because of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead, T.
Okay, so first off, my response to what you said was not me saying that's how I would respond, or that I think that a response like that is warranted or should happen. Absolutely not. I was speaking to the fact that you said women feel some type of way, and I was saying because you bring another woman into whatever it is you're trying to explain. Number one. Number two, I'm gonna just quote Iyanla. Your delivery can make your message null and void. A lot of times, how you bring something to somebody is what has to be as delicately done as much as what you're saying. And that's all I'm saying, because that don't have nothing to do with necessarily somebody's baggage or whatever, but you can bring something to your mate that's for them and just about them, speaking to them in response to what you got going on, without having to bring other people into the situation, because that adds another level of whatever. Because even though I see your heart, just like you said, if you've already been saying this to me more than one time, then yeah, oh shoot, dang, I ain't doing what I'm supposed to do. Yes, I see your heart. But once you bring that other woman into it, or the other women at your job, then it adds another level that just is not conducive to peace moving forward. So that's all I was saying. Was never saying that I feel like that's the type of response I would have. Was never saying that I'm just, you were speaking about the men that have already gone through this. And if they use the type of vernacular that you used in that first explanation about what other women are doing or saying, then yes, that can make a woman be like, well, what he got going on at the job? What's, just because you're bringing another human being into the situation, you can explain yourself and get everything that you need to say out to your spouse or your significant other that's between you and them. You never have to bring in another person, because then that just adds a layer of possibly mistrust. That adds just a layer of unknowns that you don't want to bring into a situation. That's all I'm trying to say. Never said that I would tell him, you're not supposed to say it like that. Nothing. I would never. A matter of fact, if a nigga told me that, and I'm being straight up right now, if a nigga told me that, I would be like, oh, okay. I wouldn't even have no words for him, because I already know that my response might not be in a way where he might want to tell me something again. So trust and believe, my response will probably be dumbfaced, because I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, all right, okay, well, and then I'll go talk about it with my girls, or cuss and do all of that with my girls. So that's really what I was. But I'm just speaking to the fact that you were already speaking in terms of men who are already going through this. And I'm just saying the best way to communicate that is not by bringing another opposite sex into it. Because just like you said, nobody's saying that you are intentionally trying to do anything. But what I'm saying, what it does something to that woman. Just like it would do something to you if I came to you and specifically was like, man, these guys, these guys, that would have you feeling some type of way. Just you'd probably be looking at you going, shoot, maybe I need to go to the gym. Maybe I need to, it just adds a layer of unknowns into a situation that's already estranged and strained.
I understand that. My confidence
I get what you're saying.
My confidence is different though. But however, what I understand everything that you're saying, and so now my question to you is, like, before you came back on, when we talked about trigger words, like, could that possibly like just saying that, like you said, bringing the other women in, that you saying that even though the individuals were vulnerable during that time, that or certain words or that within itself could have been a trigger for them not to even be able to hear me? Is that kind of what you're saying?
No, I'm not even saying that I'm not hearing you. What I'm saying is that's going to make me think other things. That's gonna add more unknowns into a situation that's already estranged. So there's no point to bring in other women. You can tell me all these things you need to tell me without saying what these other women in your other environments are doing. You can communicate that without bringing anybody into it, but just me and you. That's all I'm saying.
Go ahead, Miss Ingram. Go ahead.
If I
You
can
don't
add
been so
to this,
patient.
whatever.
Go ahead.
If I could add, I think Chap said earlier in the previous conversation, the earlier conversation, that one of you guys made the reference to, we already know that we've started to gain weight, or this is happening. We already know this. So if your mate hasn't been active with you in some time, your mate knows that she's put on weight, your mate knows that the dynamics of the relationship has changed or it's strained, for you to come home, and though I want this to be a vulnerable space for you to even mention that someone else is paying attention to you, I already know we got problems. I know that whether I haven't come on to you or you haven't come on to me, I know we ain't been getting busy. And though I want to create a safe space for you unfortunately, this may be how women are wired. We're working on that on our side. Trust me, we're working on it. But if you mention and all of my lack and everything, not that you're mentioning the lack, but because I know I've gained weight and I know I'm not dressing sexy and we're not hanging out, we're not going anywhere, we're not doing anything to feed this relationship, for you to even mention other people giving you attention at the job, it does have the potential to cause, you know what? Well, if that, depending on who she is, if that's what's happening, then get it from over there. I don't care.
So, but hold on now. Remember when I said it was brought up as far as the weight concern, the individual was saying, "Hey, let's go. When the last time you went to the gym? You want to go start working out? When do you want to start?" Remember, I just said engaging you to help you do. Hey, we doing this together. We ain't just going to work out together. We finna do an eating plan together. I'm gonna cook these days. You gonna cook. See what I'm saying?
And it's sad.
And that's great.
That sometimes things have to get really bad for someone to want to make. It's really sad. It's sad that a person has to consider stepping out before the other mate at home. Like, oh, so you were serious about it. It's really sad that it gets to that point.
Yeah.
But
right.
We already got problems. Let's not layer.
Look, well, right, I get that part. But what I'm saying, if I'm saying we doing this together and we're a team, I don't want nobody else. And then but I'm saying you still getting offended when I'm coming to you, and then when we doing this, you like, I don't like the way you. I can't do but one more. You got one more in you, baby. I'm pushing you to be great. You know what I'm saying? I'm pushing you and we gonna do this together. You got one.
You missing the point.
You
missing it.
Too.
It's going over your head. You
missing it. About how you said it. It's about the content of what was said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even really tripping about how you said it. It really is everything that was involved.
What you're saying,
Unfortunately, you know what? We are emotional. We're working on that. If I can speak for a majority of the women, we are working on that we won't hear with our emotions or respond out of our emotions. But I will tell you, in those particular situations, because I speak to women on the flip side, they're the recipient of what you're talking about. You know what? Because they feel bad about themselves. They feel bad that they're not in shape. They can't stop eating. They don't want to work out because it's just too much or whatever it is. Even worse, when their spouse, when they know somebody else is checking out their spouse, now it feels like, you know what, I'm not
absolutely
good enough. It just can be late.
It adds another layer. Exactly. That's all I'm saying.
We really need to look within. The truth of the matter is we gotta look within.
You can say that the thrill is gone without having to bring another woman in it. That's all I'm saying. You can say, baby, we need to work on this without having to bring another human being. That's what me and Latanya are saying, because as women, if we can speak from that point of view, because you guys want to wonder why, somebody takes offense, you don't have to bring another person into it for you to say whatever it is that you need to say to me. That's all. Please be vulnerable, but you don't have to tell me what Tiffany and Sandra doing at the job in order for me to put some fire up under my ass. If I love you and I want us to be happy and I want this thing to really go for the long haul, then I am all ears. But once you bring another woman into it, or several women, or whatever your environment is that includes women that have what I got to offer you, then that just adds a whole nother part on it. That's why that man ain't getting no peace. So you know what I'm saying? You don't have to bring the other women into it for me to know that you need now. But just like Kurt said, no, up here, just like he said, what were the conversations before that? You know what I'm saying? Then yeah, I could definitely say, if this man been having all these conversations with you, and he got to a point where he had to be like, man, with these ladies, blah, 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 I guess I can get it. But if you just straight coming to me like that, because you didn't say, your boy with the glasses right here in the middle, you didn't say that there were conversations being had before. You just was like, I came to her and was like this. But if there were conversations before, then I can understand. And then the last conversation was about these other women, then okay, then there was escalation to that. You know what I'm saying? There was a regular conversation, a regular one, and then it got to the point where you talk about the women. But if you're coming out straight out and talk about what these other women got going on in your environment, that's just going to add a level of unknown to that woman. And you're not going to get no peace, because you bringing other women into it. But if he's been talking to her about it over and over and over again, then I can totally understand why that man, out of frustration, is coming at her like that. I can totally understand.
It's
Chance, you
Oh,
about
go.
to say something?
Chap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. God, I'm terrible.
You know, it's a couple of things here. We get mail every day, but there's certain mail that you get you're gonna pay attention to. You know, I can get a circular and I'm just gonna throw it to the side. But if I get a letter from the IRS, I'm gonna open it up, right? And so you can you can get that mail every day. Somebody can communicate with you every day. But there are certain pieces of mail that you're gonna open up and like, hey, got to deal with this. And no matter how they deliver it, you got to deal with it, right? Because it's the IRS, and they may have sent me things in the past that say, hey, you know, you might want to look at this, or you know, file your taxes, or we're going to look at this, and you may disregard those things. Whatever your mail is, we communicate in relationships every day, every day, every day, and then those big pieces come where you're like, man, it's huge, it's big now, and I gotta fix it. No matter how they deliver it, there is a resolve that needs to happen. And the other side is just as a woman feels that way and they emotionalize things, men do it too. We just do it in the cave. You know, Elijah said, I was afraid, so I ran. He did it in the cave, and he had killed all these prophets. But he dealt with fear in the cave. When a man is rejected by his mate, his ego, his respect, you know, his confidence, y'all carry those things for men. They give them to you to cultivate, to nurture, you know. And like I think Chief said, I should feel that way every day when I leave. One, because of who I am, but two, because of who you say I am. You know, you are my church, right? So I should leave every day feeling confident and like I can fly and like I can get it. But when you reject me in intimate spaces of my life, you chip away at that person of me. And then it causes us to tell me that I really do look good. Tell me that I really am smart. Tell me that I really do have it together. You know, tell me these things. And when you start to look for those things outside, that's where it becomes dangerous. And you don't know how to bring those things. Now, you know, it's common, but do you really know how to bring those things back home? Do you really know how to translate those things into a space where they can be received the right way? And I really, just in my 50 years of living, I don't think there's a 100% answer to that. I'm gonna bring it home, but I don't know how to bring it. I may not know how to bring it home to you, right? I can bring home the bacon, but it may be a whole pig, but I'm still bringing it home. But that works on the other side of the coin too. I'm gonna bring it home, but I might not know that, you know, and on the other side, you may not know how to communicate that with me. And that's why these safe spaces, if I may, are so vital, because what I say, you know, please, in this space that we provide and that we build and that we cultivate, interpret it the right way. We can get through it in that safe space. If I say it the wrong way, baby, you know, the next time, let's talk about it this way. Let me understand. Help me to understand, because you have my ego. I'm giving you my ego. I'm giving you my confidence. You know, everything that I think about me, I gave it to you, and I need you to bring it back to me. And when that doesn't happen, it causes us to seek those things outside of the house. It causes us to, man, she said I look good. Boy, that made me feel good because ain't nobody else telling me. You know, and that's how we think. But do we bring that home? No. By the time that man tells you, oh, so and so said XYZ, she probably already said it 100 times already. You know, it's probably already been happening. We just don't know. I can't take, if I tell baby this, you know, she gonna hit the roof. You know what I mean? So just, it really is, it boils down to understanding. Like, I need to understand, you know, and it's not, it can't be one-sided in order for it to work. We have to have a mutual understanding on how we communicate, because I'm delivering my mail to you every day as a spouse. I'm telling you, whether, you know, it's a movie ticket, or, you know, what we're going to the movies, or we're going to a restaurant, whatever it is I'm trying to tell you, you can see it every day if you look, you know, at me, and if I look at you. We get mail every day. No man wants to come home and say this, you know, of course not. We don't want to say this brother been looking at me. We don't want to hear that. But what was your mail before that? And what was the mail that I was sending you before that? What were you communicating to me in our relationship that I should have seen, that I was so distracted or just did not observe or just took for granted that you didn't see? And I think that's really at the bottom of it all. That's where the crust of this is am I really,
Absolutely.
am I really paying attention to what they're translating or what they're trying to say to me? And if I am,
Absolutely.
am I valuing what they're telling me? Does it have any value? Or am I just disregarding, oh, he'll be okay? You know, that's Chap, he'll be okay. Is that what we're doing? You know? So that
I hope not. Well, obviously the men that your boy knows, all their women are doing that. They're not paying attention.
You know, I'm looking at the time, and we are well over the time.
Way over.
But this conversation is so rich because, and I'm glad those who have tuned in. I'm glad you got a chance to see this in real time like this, because this is how it happens, right?
Right.
So just as you saw Markeith and T going back and forth like that, but at no time did I saw T get kind of frustrated. I think she might have got up a couple times. But this is where that happens. You know what I'm saying? This is where we work all that out. This is where, in the midst of the frustration of me not giving it to you like you wanted, or bringing another human being into the equation, this is when all that is discussed and hashed out. Babe, listen, I hear you, babe. I understand what you're saying to me. We got to get down more than what we're doing. But I can get that without you bringing somebody else into the equation. That I don't that does this. When you say that makes me feel this way. That does this to me. That's when that's all worked out, because when we first started, it wasn't that way. This took a long time for us to get to where we are now and have these conversations and not have us, going to bed without talking to one another and all this kind of stuff. It took a while. So this, but what I wrote some things down. Constant communication. Like T said, we get mail every day. It's got to be consistent. I put consistent communication.
And considered.
And consideration, of course, consideration of others. But it goes back to also that emotional intelligence. We've got to get outside of our emotions and hear the person. Hear what they're really saying. You know what I'm saying? I heard the words that you said, but because I know you, I know what your heart is saying to me. So I got to get out of my emotions and hear your heart, as opposed to the words that's coming out of your mouth. And that takes time. All of this stuff we're talking about takes time, but that safe space is vital, because in that safe space, when all of this stuff gets worked out, it all gets, get you to the place where you can have the relationship that's thriving.
That was good.
Yes, Lord. Miss Ingram, the woman on the platform, you got anything?
No, I don't. I just echo what Chancey just said. So, yeah. Due to the lateness of the hour.
Miss T.I.M., you got anything?
Just that when these conversations are being had, you got to get to the other side of it, of the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Don't, get up, walk away. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't cut it off. Don't, like Chancey said, let your emotions get to the, even in your emotions, get to the other side of the conversation, because this is what tells. This is the test that relationships go through. Can y'all have an argument and still be good after the argument? Can y'all have differences of opinions? Can I tell you? Can you tell me what you're telling me about all these women at your job? And after that, you know what I'm saying, we could still come to, a level playing field where I could be like, okay, baby, I heard what you said. I'm gonna sex it up, and next time you got something to tell me, don't bring the other bitches in it. You know what I'm saying? We could have conversations like that and get to the other side of it and still be good with each other. Then that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? It's about getting through these these types of situations. That's what it's about. And if I'm down, and if I'm down, and that's my ride or die, you know what I'm saying? Like that's my nigga, you know what I'm saying, then we should be able to get through it because he know me and I know him.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying, we might bump a little bit, a little head a little bit, but we gonna get to the other side of it and we still gonna be good. We still gonna be loving on each other. And I'm gonna step it up and he gonna step it up and we gonna keep it moving.
And
Hey,
we're gonna
hey,
step it up
you
together.
all right? Pretty boy, you all right over there? You still laughing? What's going on?
Hey, the sugar in the roll, man. The sugar in the roll. I'm good.
Do we have time to address any of the comments or no?
Well, I mean, we over now, so I
People
mean,
still on
go back
here,
and watch
so might as well.
they can go back and watch the replay. Yeah, let's hit it.
You say let's do what?
Let's hit it. Let's hit them questions.
All right.
Or comments?
I thought you put quite a few of them up there already, didn't you?
I did. We didn't address
But
them.
we didn't
That's
address
what I'm
them.
saying. Well, we're addressing them.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, you're gonna put them up?
This thing says, I guess the next question is, can women handle the uncut, vulnerable truth from us men folk? And I would have to say that depends on where you are in your relationship. That depends on where you
Can
are.
y'all?
Because
Can y'all?
we couldn't always handle it in my relationship. My wife couldn't always handle that. I've always been transparent and open and honest and raw. And initially that was hard for her because she's a introvert and quiet and all that. And that was a test for us. But we made it through, and now she looks forward to that. But at the same time, like T say, I now use consideration because I know her so well, so I know how to say what I need to say, and because the whole point is to reason together. The whole point is to get to the other side, like T said. So I don't want to come at her knowing that I'm going to trigger her, knowing that I'm going to strike a nerve. My whole goal is to reason together. I want to get to resolution. So I got to consider my wife when I say things to her because we're trying to get somewhere. I ain't trying to cause contention. We're trying to get to a solution. So it does go both ways. I will say that. But I learned that over time. That didn't come overnight.
Yeah.
That's valid.
I think we're all built to handle it. You just have to gauge the stage you're in and know that, I can't give my 9-year-old daughter my car keys, even though I know one day she'll be able to drive. She's not ready to drive right now. And I think it and so it goes in relationships. You have to gauge where you are and, help each other grow into that place where we're okay and we are safe and we can disagree without running. It requires a cultivation and being intentional about us. I need to get somewhere where I know that we're okay. And like the pilot says, we're at 30,000 feet, you can take your seatbelt off. Relationships work that way, but you have to get there first in order for that to be all right. And I think a lot of us, we shoot, we do things, these things like prematurely. We never leave the tarmac, because
can't survive. Right.
Yeah.
And the thing, but so that's for those of us that are trying to grow and want to continue to cultivate. What about them? You got males and females. This is who I am. This is who you married. You expect me to change?
I think
that's just a lack of maturity, bro.
Yeah, I think that's caca.
And though you got people that other people, good men, are in relationships with, or good relationships with.
I know, but that's a lack of maturity for somebody to respond that way. That's a lack of maturity.
Yeah.
Because it's not. I'm not trying to change you, but you should be trying to change you because you're not perfect. You're not where you need to be. You got frailties. You got weaknesses. You got issues. So it shouldn't be me trying to change you. You should be trying to be your level best.
That's right.
Right. So the thing is, when we get to this again, when we come to this conversation again, because we didn't go nowhere the first 2, 3, or 20 times, every time it's the same thing. Now we stuck.
Because you haven't done anything in the gap.
Therapy.
Yeah, you haven't done
therapy.
We got those My brother done been to therapy.
No doubt.
The woman, I'm talking about the woman. If a man has hit a wall with a woman, then maybe he needs to suggest, you know what, let's individually do some therapy because there may be some things that come out between her and that whatever therapist that's not going to come out between them two. You know what I'm saying? And then, but at the end of the day, when you hit a wall with somebody, it's either chuck the deuces or you try to bring somebody else into it like a therapist because you just gonna keep hitting the wall. Like who wants to live like that? That's
That's
I mean,
crazy.
at the end of the day, you can't force another person to
Because
go
you can't.
inside, assess themselves, examine themselves, and make the necessary changes. They're gonna want to
You
have. They're
can't.
gonna need to have to do that for themselves.
Yeah.
You will
And
get the
that's when
benefit of
you
that.
right.
Yeah. And if they don't
And
want
that's
to
when
do
you
that
as that
intentionally,
person have to make a decision on what's the best thing for you to do as that individual person. Because it's like beating a dead horse, honestly. And that's on both sides of it. That's women and men, but this is a man platform, so you just want to talk about the women. But that's on both sides of it. You know what I'm saying? When you hit a wall with somebody, it's either am I going to continue to be miserable at this wall, or am I going to move on? Or if I offer these things so that we can try to get past this wall, is that person going to take it, or are they not going to take it? Are they going to try to benefit from it, or are they just going to do it to appease me? Because then, if all of those things are going on, then it's time for you to really take some self assessments and be like, hey, okay, what's the best thing for my peace and my sanity?
Yeah.
Like for real.
you know what I think too. What could be a potential issue is, and maybe the guys can speak to this. Those that have been married for an extended period of time. Though I was married for 16 years, I wouldn't even think mine would qualify to even be used in this because there wasn't. Though there was some lopsided communication, there were no actions after the communication. But is it possible that if you've been in a marriage 20 plus years, 16, 20 plus years, perhaps you have a right to get comfortable because you have invested that time in that marriage. But then it can be to your detriment to get so comfortable that you expect your spouse to accept anything about you. So if you put on 30, 40, 50 pounds, you're like, well, you've been with me all this time and I don't need to change because you know what, I love you, you love me, da da da, without expecting the spouse to communicate what that weight gain or lack of attention, lack of affection is doing to them. I think it's detrimental to get so comfortable where you feel like you don't have to do any work anymore. That 1 year marriage needs work just like that 20-year marriage needs work.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No doubt.
you
We're
can be
gonna
comfortable, but there's a difference between being comfortable and being complacent. They're two
True.
different things. You know,
That part.
you
this
know, when you get complacent, that means you're losing yourself in this, and who you are as an individual. What the things I did that keeps the fire hot. you know, and when you're complacent, you disregard those things as if you're gonna be okay, and it's not a problem until it's a problem. Of course, we should be comfortable in our relationships, in our marriages, and we should definitely be comfortable in those things. But I think when you're complacent, you disregard how that other person feels, and what they consider, and that's when you think about it, that's disrespectful when you that
Absolutely.
way inside of something. So
Absolutely.
if you in the marriage, them jokers be like, what they say, for better or for worse, through sickness and in health, to death do us part. You know what I'm saying? They'll put that on you real quick. Like, so what
yeah,
happened?
yeah,
Yeah, but see that's true, but that's reciprocal. That's
right,
on both sides. When
right,
that's the
Thank
thought
you.
on both sides, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But when it's one sided and you got only one person that's upholding those values, then
yeah,
there's a problem.
that's
That's
hard.
the
That's
problem.
gonna topple.
That has
That's
to be
gonna crumble.
reciprocal.
Yeah,
I'm
Hmm.
a firm believer of reciprocation, man.
yeah,
You have to give what you want.
yes,
What you
sir.
want, you give. That's why I
Yeah.
say that
Absolutely.
crown didn't fit me when I first put it on. When she first put it on me, it didn't fit.
Yeah,
but because she kept building me and speaking life to me, I did my darndest to fit that crown.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be the man that she was calling me out to
Right.
be.
Right.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so she pulled me up to
You
that
was
to that
speaking
thing
to the
so I could wear
king
it.
in you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
he called me queen, darling. I'm gonna make it my business to feel queen.
Yeah, because
Got it.
it goes back to
Taking
what
notes.
Chap said earlier about, you know, we give you our ego, our pride, our self-confidence, all that stuff we give to you. When you give it back to me, it should be bigger than what I gave it to you, because you
Right.
pouring it right back into me, and that makes me, boy, feel like, boy, I can conquer the world.
Right. That's right.
Because you're who I care about the most outside of God.
Yeah.
But
It's
the flip side is when it ain't being reciprocal, and that's my cry. That's my cry for the people that I know.
it's
When it ain't
poison.
reciprocal, I'm dying on the inside.
It's poison. Yeah.
We done established all this together. I'm dying on the inside. I'm sacrificing. Oh God, help me. I'm sacrificing all of myself
Mm-hmm.
for you, for this family. I'm covering you spiritually.
Yeah.
And yet I'm still suffering and I'm dying.
Yeah. It's poison. That's what it is. It's poison when you don't get it back. It's power when you.
Besides cry. What do I do besides call my brother and cry and let out my frustration so I can live another day? What do I do?
Ooh.
What do I do other than saying stuff like this? This what we say. Man, now I understand. I wouldn't what you say? Now I can understand why some dudes just walk away from it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the man that really stand in and try to do it, he go through more hell than the man that ain't standing in trying to do nothing.
Yeah. I will attest to that. Like, I don't know, man. This I know the hours far spent. We could talk about this, but you know, when you're doing those things and you are that good guy, and you see the guys that aren't good and they're winning, you know, that's it just does something to your psyche when you see like, hey, I'm out here, and you know, and I'm saving Gotham City, and I'm coming home every night. When you see the Joker out there, you know, and he running the streets, you know, and he the one winning, it does something to you. And so, you know,
Is he winning though?
well, hey,
That's the perception.
I would suggest that he's winning because you see the people that like what'd you say, the bad boys win first, good guys win last. When you and that's really is that's how it is. It's almost like my good isn't good enough, but my bad is.
Right.
You know,
Wow.
It's like how much you want from me. It's like how much more you want from me.
Yeah.
This is what you want, and I'm all of what you saying, but I'm not perfect. Like and all I'm doing is I'm just asking for you to acknowledge. I'm asking for us to be in this together. Don't act like I'm the enemy because I want better for you and greater for you, and you getting offended by it. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Okay, so I frequent a lot of different platforms as well, and could it be that you just picked wrong? I mean, because that's what a lot of guys say to us. You know what I'm saying? When we complain about, um, you know, daddies being baby mamas and having kids from men who weren't man enough to stay around, and a lot of time the rhetoric towards these type of women is, well, you picked wrong. So could it possibly be that you picked wrong?
In some
Could
cases,
it possibly be that you're with someone who is not deserving of everything that you're putting out? Could that possibly be the case?
yeah. In some cases, no doubt. But you also got good men that have good women, right? But these good women are some of the ones that we're talking. I mean, or some of the relationships and what we're talking about. Some of these good women are stuck in their ways. Some of these good women have triggers and can't. It's impossible to.
So they're good women, but they're not emotionally. So what makes a good woman? You know, you asked us what makes a good man. What makes a good woman? Because I would assume that you would consider a good woman to be someone who is emotionally intelligent enough
Right,
to,
right.
go right. So
Like
are
Chance
they really
say,
good if they can't navigate and be those things for you?
right. Chancey just described a good woman. And a lot of these women are that. The things that they fail to do is evolve emotionally
Okay.
to create
Okay.
that safe space. So at
Yeah.
the point to where they got stuck when, remember when Chancey say she couldn't do it, she was, you can't, what they were saying about feeding people. I can't remember the scripture about that or whatever. But he was saying that initially she wasn't ready for that. But he continued to be who he was, you know what I'm saying? And she gradually came along, you know what I'm saying, and grew in that area. But these women are not, they're good women, but when it comes to that and creating that safe space for that man, it's not happening.
Mm.
So
That's
so
unfortunate.
so you're right, and here's the thing about that. You have options in those situations. You can either walk alongside them throughout their process, or you walk away. But only you can determine what that
Hmm.
timeline looks like. But here are some
Hmm.
things that you got to look for. So during those gaps and those spaces, you got to look at the work that's being put in by the opposing by the other person to tell you or to let you know, okay, they're
Yes.
striving to be better. They're
Yes.
taking the necessary actions to
Yes.
become a better version of themselves.
Good.
They're not remaining complacent. Although they're comfortable in a relationship, they're not remaining complacent and not doing nothing. Just sitting there, like, I'm good. You go ahead and be great, but I'll be when you get back. No,
Good.
what steps are they taking to get better, progressively get better?
Right.
And if you don't see those actions in place, then you
Right.
got to make a decision.
It's
See,
good.
and
Absolutely.
that I think we're gonna transition into too as well. Being in those relationships, you know what I'm saying, where you're dying, but yeah, you don't establish so much, and then it's so much else, it's so much else at stake outside of yourself.
That's the next one.
Yeah, that I
Okay.
think that's to transition us into that conversation.
Okay. Well,
Because that's big. What chance
it
is
is.
that's huge. But I see we at like 2 hours and Miss Ingram got to go. We like 42 minutes past, and it
Yeah, I
got
know
so
my wife looking for me.
yeah.
Here I go, baby.
Y'all know we usually do our after show thing, and we've already spent. Anywho, that's
Yeah.
not for our viewers to
So
see, but
don't do the after show. Sometimes try to do it. Probably do it the weekend. So
okay.
kind of go into the next one. Thank you, Miss T. Thank you, Pretty Boy. Thank you, Kirk, and thank you, Miss Ingram. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got 3 faithful ones that stayed all the way to the end, almost 2 hours. We appreciate y'all, man. We appreciate
You had people coming in and out. You did. You had people
Yeah.
coming in and
Hmm.
out.
Good. It was
y'all.
good.
Thank
That's good.
y'all. And we just close in prayer. If you got any questions, man, Aaron, man, you gotta join us. I don't know what you gotta do, bro, if you still on here, but you need to come to the men's retreat in October. And I also got some links for you too, so you can perform at in another location in Georgia, man. I need you to hit me up later. But
You
outside of
just
that,
gonna throw out a shameless plug, huh?
so
To one of our viewers who may not even be on anymore. Oh, okay, they're on. They're still
he
on.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
let's close out in prayer real quick. Um, uh, Pretty boy, can you close us out?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Thank
Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for bringing us all home safely. We thank you, Lord God, that our hearts and our minds are pointed in the right place. Thank you for all that was said and discovered. We pray that someone was changed on this night. Pray, Lord God, that they were empowered and impacted. We pray, God, that we were all made better. And we pray, God, that the next time you're with us and you speak to us on this platform, that more people would hear you through us. We thank you for this day. We ask that you would give us peace on this night, that you will settle our hearts and our minds, and that you give us tomorrow. We will wake up giving you all the honor, all the glory, and the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Bye-bye.
Good night, y'all.
Y'all have a good night.